Hey, 자장나무님. How was your weekend? How you doing today? How are you doing tonight? 전식님, Hannah님, MaryMe님 says, good to see you. Good to see you too. How are you today? How's your weekend? Fried chicken man. Fried chicken man. Do you really make fried chicken? You even have a logo for your profile picture. Fried chicken man. Is that by any chance what you do actually? Do you actually run like a chicken shop? Hey Rosie, what's up? How's it going? May name, are you the same May name that I know? 수연님, 도로님, 박승현님. Say you stayed home all day. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Hayanim, good evening. Yes, good evening to you too. Oh, it's you. Okay. Why is your name different? Hey flower name, what's up? It's been a while. Hannah Johnny, so sad the weekend is over. Yeah, it's, well, you know, it can only go so long, right? It can only go so long. And besides, it has to end sometime for the new week to come, so that we'll have another new weekend, right? Hey Sona name, what's up? How's it going? I'm waiting for this time. You've been waiting for the stream? I actually wasn't going to stream tonight. What were you going to do if I didn't stream? Hey Monim, what's up? How's it going? Half Monim, as always. Good to see you. Paksominim, it's good to see you again. Amorinim says, I'm doing great tonight. That's good. That's great. Good to hear. Good to hear. Hello, I'm glad to see you. Seo Eugene-nim. It's good to see you too. How you doing? Not much. Thanks for asking. How you doing? I'm doing okay, I guess. I think I'm doing a little better than last week, I guess. Hey Alex. Not much. Not much. What's up with you? Hi Doge. What's Doge? Hello, hi. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. Where's my cap? I just took a shower, so I don't feel like wearing a stinky cap on my head. You know what I mean? I just took a shower, like literally just took a shower, and I actually decided while I was showering, that I might spend some time with my friends, my online friends, and so, I just stepped out of the shower. I just don't feel like putting on a stinky cap on my head. You know what I mean? Let's see. Looks like we have, just give me a second, you guys. 1 second. All right. I wonder. Hey, YPLY name. Is there anything else you can say, or is that the only thing you know how to say? Yo, is that the only thing you know how to say? Do you know how to say anything else? Say something else. I dare you. I dare you to say something else. Go ahead, say something else. That's the only thing you know how to say? Okay, see you later. If you're not here to contribute, might as well be silenced. All right. Okay. Doesn't know how to say anything else. Oh, are you quitting soon? Okay. So, what's the plan? You've learned English for 10 years That's not true, Johnny. You can understand some of what I'm saying, right? Like, can you understand what I'm saying right now? You can understand what I'm saying pretty clearly right now, right? Last weekend, so confused for the people, you know. Also, I felt sad and a regret for detaining the president. Sorry about issued a political incident, but I hope being happy everyone here. Yes, please. I wish things get better. It looks like, you know, I've said this once before, but I feel like we are in a, like, you know, let's deal with one problematic leader at a time. It is quite concerning who we have as an alternative. You know what I mean? Like, our current president, yeah, he's got a lot of problems, but it doesn't look like our other option is all that good as well. And so we're going to have to deal with that too. And so it looks like we're not out of the woods yet, you know what I mean? Just because, you know, our current president is detained, and I mean, it doesn't look like we're out of the woods. I think we can all agree on that. Anyway, look at that troll this week. News was so interesting, I lost track of time. Yeah, things have been pretty crazy, right? Oh man, things have been pretty crazy. It's like, can we get on with our lives, please? Like, the people have their lives to live, you know what I mean? Ugh. A candlelight rally for the president impeachment. Yes, I'm sure it's still ongoing, right? It's an ongoing thing. Oh, you're going to graduate school. That's great. Congratulations. Okay. What will you be studying? What will you be doing research on? Leonie says, "Hi, bro. How's your weekend? Nice haircut." Oh, yeah. Actually, I was just in the bathroom. I cut my hair. Got my yeah. It was way overdue. It was getting really, really messy, especially around the sides and the back. And so I gave myself a little trim. Sam, I'm so torn about ordering a late night snack. What would you eat at this hour though? Like, what are your options? You have any plans to go to US? Oh, because of my hair? No, they probably wouldn't even accept me. No, they probably would not even accept me there. Yeah, good evening, Kikinu. How you doing? I was watching a video that's someone chasing the tornado. Have you seen a tornado so far? I have never seen a tornado in real life. No. I guess in California, because the only place that I stayed when I was in the U.S. was California, and I hardly ever left the state. And so, I mean, I don't know if California has ever had tornadoes, but I've never seen a tornado in real life. But I'm assuming you're talking about those tornado chasers. What do they call them? They call them storm chasers or tornado chasers? Tornado... They have a name for them, right? I don't know what it is. Hi, I wonder what you... Oh, what did I didn't do much. You know, I just... this week was a very long week of so many hospital visits. I had so many doctor's appointments. I've been going to a doctor appointment every day since Wednesday, including yesterday. Today was a relief today because I actually didn't go to see any doctors today. But every day since Wednesday. What's up? Not much. How you doing? Yeah, that's right. We're not out of the woods, right? Oh, do I? Oh, I have lost. I guess I've lost. I don't know, like 3-4 kilograms. I've been on a very strict diet because of my diabetes. Ever since my diabetes diagnosis, I've been on a very strict diet, and I've been trying to work out every day. I actually just worked out just before the stream, which is why I had to take a shower just before the stream. So, I mean, for those of you who are looking for a way to lose weight, I mean, there really is no better way than to be on a strict diet and work out. And when I say work out, I don't mean a lot of work. You don't have to like sweat like hell. Just, I don't know, if you have, one of those bikes that you have, stationary bikes where you have you can just keep at home. It doesn't even take up that much space, and just go on it for like an hour, hour and a half. And you burn like 300 calories. And that's pretty much all the exercise you really need if you think about it. And you just eat less, all right? You don't eat anything bad. Just keep a clean diet, and you pretty much you'll probably reach the average weight for your height and your build. I went on a day trip to Daejeon. Wow, okay. Do you live in Seoul? I'm so sad it's already over weekend. The weekend is already over, yeah. Yeah, I cut my own hair. My wife is very strongly insisting that I go to, a proper hair salon or barber shop to get my hair cut. But I don't know, there's just something about going to this hair salon and having someone and paying someone to cut my hair that I really don't like. I don't know what it is. I've talked about this a number of times before, but there's something about that I just don't like. I don't like the idea of paying someone to... I feel the same, like if I can cut my own nails, I can cut my own hair, right? So I'm not going to pay someone to cut my nails, although some women do that. Well, women do that too. Women do that, right? Women pay people to cut their nails, right? And like color their nails and stuff, like, polishing the nails and stuff. I don't do that. I guess that most Korean will also do haircut themselves. What do you mean by that? You look relaxed after taking a shower on Sunday evening. Yeah, I guess I feel pretty relaxed. Although the itching has been getting better. So, hopefully the new treatment that I've been taking is effective. Sam, I was lazy all day, but I study now due to live stream. Well, we're not really here to study. I just wanted to see what was up with you guys. I just wanted to ask you guys how your weekends were. Recently, I think we were meeting last time, but that was yeah, I forget. When was our last stream over on the Toddler channel? It's been a while. I think our last stream was Tuesday, right? It's been a while. I'm down. 업무적으로 안 쓰나요? 업무적으로? It doesn't sound formal, that's for sure. It sounds very casual, but you can expect to hear that, between coworkers. They use it all the time. It is casual, just think about Korean. Just because we're in a work environment doesn't mean we don't use casual expressions, right? It's pretty much the same thing in English. It's just a language, right? 미용실에서 쓸만한 표현이 뭐가 있을까요? 미용실에서 무슨 얘기를 하는데요? Like for me, are you saying that you are a hairdresser? Is that why? 영어로 앞머리, 옆머리 어떻게 잘라 몰라서. For example, this is just an example, right? And this is going to be different for everybody. But if I were at a salon or a barber shop and I wanted to say 옆머리 살짝만 다듬어 주세요, I would just say a little bit off the sides. That's what I would say. Could you just, trim a little bit off the sides? That's what I would say. I wouldn't really go for a specific word that corresponds to 옆머리. You can just say the front, the sides, the back, the top. You can just say that. You don't necessarily have to say 머리, right? Did you hear the news that California got burning? Yes. The Palisades fire, yeah, it's really bad. Really, really bad. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories about that too. I thought that was kind of odd and kind of interesting. There's just I can't even imagine how terrifying it would be. It's just Donsen님 says, It's been a while to see you. 제가 사실 누나가 있는데 이번 6월 마치면 호주 가는데요. 누나는 확정이고 전 영어가 어떤 면에서인지 외국인이 말하는 거 잘 안 들리고 안 되고요. 저도 호주 가는 게 제 성적에 따라 바뀌어질 것 같은데 어떻게 할까요? 영어 강의 맨날 듣는데 안 느네요. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? What advice do you guys have for our Donson? What advice do you guys have? What advice do you guys have? Just keep repeating. Okay. Repeating what? I would hang on. Hang on. You mean like, just get through it? Working holiday? 가면 좋지 않을까요? I mean, yeah, if you could, you should. And it's all about expectation, I think. Like, if you expect everything to be easy and everything to just go smoothly and if you expect everybody to treat you with respect, and if you expect that there's not going to be any problems, then you're in for a big surprise when you actually get there. So I think managing your expectation is very, very important. And like, if you're expecting your English to improve significantly after about like 6 months or a year, that you're in for a big surprise at the end of that, because it's not going to go as smoothly and things are just not going to be, sunshine and rainbows as much as you think. Although, seeing as how you're already concerned about certain things, I do feel like you're looking at the realistic side of things. I think it's very important for you to realize that simply consuming I always say this. I say this probably a little too often, but relying solely on content that has been created for English learners, you can only learn so much from those kind of content, like books, online lectures, English lesson videos. You can only learn so much. And depending on which content you choose, you might be wasting a lot of time, because you might not be learning like the kind of expressions, and you might not be learning with material that reflect like real life use. You know what I mean? So yeah, you have to consume content in English. That's probably the only thing you can do. Start immediately. You know what I mean? I really hate to say this, but there's no any other option to be persistent with learning and practicing, I think. There's no any other option to be persistent with learning and practicing, I think. You're saying that being persistent is the only way. Is that what you're saying? Well, yeah, I think being persistent is important. I think first thing, I think the most important thing is to realize that you should not rely solely on education content. I think that's like number one. Because the reason I say this is because most people do that. That's what most people do. When they're trying to when they're trying to learn some English, they turn to education content. You know what I mean? I'll probably say this like 5 times just to really get this through. You know what I mean? Probably one of the biggest mistakes that Korean people make. Korean people who are trying to learn English, in my opinion, the biggest mistake they make is they immediately turn to English learning content. Education content, whether it's books or online videos or whatever, that's what they usually turn to. And sure, it's better than nothing. And depending on which content you choose, some are very effective, I believe, and a lot of them are not. But so I think that it's very important to realize that that's not what you should be doing. So if you're spending let's say that you're spending 2 hours every day trying to improve your English, okay? If you're spending 2 hours every day to try to improve your English, I'd say about an hour and a half, at least an hour and a half of that should be by actually using the language. And by using, I mean listening, reading, writing, speaking, all of that stuff. And in order to communicate, if you're spending 2 hours watching a English, learning video online, you're really not learning much, I gotta say. 기회가 있으면 무조건 가는 게 좋아요. 가서 힘들어도 어쨌든 나중에 비슷한 기회가 또 생겼을 때 갈지 말지 확실하게 정할 수 있게 되거든요. Yeah, I'd say going. I mean, if you can, just go. Yeah. I think mimicking could help. If you can pronounce words properly, you'll start to be able to hear English more clearly. That's true. You certainly. I think the more you improve your pronunciation, your English, your listening improves as well, I feel like. Oh, really? Do I? Maybe it's because I took a shower. Understanding English is one thing and making your own sentence is another. Sure, of course. Because like when you're actually using English to communicate with a foreigner, right? Nobody tells you what to say. You got to come up with your own stuff, right? Mimicking is, like you're trying to make yourself sound like a specific person. Pretty much. Eugene is hungry. That's why your live stream was started suddenly when I start to have meal. I want to have meal after finishing the class. Okay. You mean meal? You mean dinner? You haven't had dinner yet. Is that true? Of course. 그쵸? Of course. 그건 당연한 거예요. 그건 당연한 거예요. 말을 잘 하려면은요. So if you want to get better at speaking, there are a number of things that you can do to improve your speaking. There are a number of things. And some of them are obvious things. Like of course you got to practice, right? But you have to become familiar with how to respond. When someone says something, like how do you respond to that? Well, what do you say? Right? Because you're not always going to have something to say. You might have nothing to say. So how do you respond? Like asking questions and all that. And so I think the most important thing, if you want to improve your spoken English, the most important thing is you have to have a lot of experience communicating with people using English. You have to have a lot of experience. So that when you say this, you're kind of already expecting what they're going to say. And so you can kind of already be in that zone where you feel comfortable, right? Instead of like feeling like you're taking a spoken English test, you're just communicating. You focus on the communication. And that's why I think it's very important for you to listen to other people's communication as well, which is why I always suggest that you spend time online watching interviews, watching community posts, watching YouTube videos and reading the comments, looking at social media posts, looking at the comments, see how they communicate. 이성 친구 사귀어서 영어 실력 늘리는 건 어떻게 생각하시나요? Yeah. I mean, if that is something that you if that's something you can do, sure. Sure. I think talking in English is easy. I don't have to use difficult word, but when I have a speaking test, I have to explain something about topic. That is what I feel difficult. Yeah, tests are a completely different thing. I think when you're taking a test, it engages your brain in a very different. You have to use your brain in a different way, because a test usually has certain focus points that you have to satisfy. Right, there are certain elements that you have to satisfy if you want to get a good score on a test. I think all tests, well, maybe in the future when AI becomes more and more improved and becomes implemented in more and more systems, and eventually when AI becomes implemented in like tests, right? I'm sure things will become different. But at the moment, when you're taking a test, like for instance, there are no spoken English tests that require the test taker to ask questions, right? So, but think about real life conversation. In real life conversation, you're supposed to ask a lot of questions. Of course you ask a lot of questions, right? But I'm still very surprised about this. This still boggles my mind. Like, no English spoken test requires the test taker to ask questions. And so that's why people, a lot of Korean people can't ask questions, because they don't study making questions. They don't practice it because it's not necessary. You know what I mean? It's really funny if you think about it. 선생님, 영어 인터뷰를 보면 몇 퍼센트 알아들으세요? Depends on the topic. Yeah, totally depends on the topic. And the same goes for my Korean as well. Like when it comes to my Korean, my English, it depends on the topic. 저는 쌤이 얼른 쓰는 영어로 넘어가라는 거 이번에 호주 가서 진짜 온몸으로 느꼈어요. 문장 틀리는 거 너무 신경 쓰지 않고 그동안 쌤이랑 해왔던 것들 응용해서 최대한 말하려고 했고, 외국인들이랑 말 많이 했는데 호주에 있던 짧은 3주 동안 엄청 늘었어요. That's great. Yes. So you have to really let go. You have to let go of your obsession to be correct and precise. You have to let all that go and just focus on the communication. You have to focus on that. And when you're by yourself and when you're practicing English to improve your English, because there's you actually using English with foreigners, that's one thing. But when you're by yourself, you still want to practice, right? That's what everybody does. So when you're practicing by yourself, you should still always focus on communicating and watching other people communicate. I think that's very, very important. Today I went to the department in a while. I'm looking around here and there, bought 2 shoes. 2 pairs of shoes, J-Pop name, right? 2 pairs of shoes. 저 미국인 여자친구 사귀고 영어 엄청 늘었어요. Good for you. Yeah. 모든 대화를 다 외워하는 게 답인 거죠. 그 문장 속에 콤바인하고. The point should not be to. So what I'm trying to say is your goal should not be in order to memorize everything, but to repeat everything as much as you can. Just repeating as much as you can to the point where you can just memorize everything. So memorizing isn't really the goal. The goal is to repeat it as much as you can. That's what you're looking for. 전 호주인 남편이 있는데 남편이 제 영어 수준의 하향 평준화를 So by spending time with you, by living with you, his English is being brought down to your level. That is unfortunate. I'm sure he's just doing that for your convenience. What a sweet guy, right? What a sweet guy. 얼마 전부터 GPT와 영어로 얘기 나누는데 사람과 대화만큼의 긴장감은 없지만 그래도 안 하는 것보다는 나을까 싶어요. Of course! Absolutely. The problem is this. There are so many things that you can do. So this is the part where you're gonna hate what I'm gonna say, okay? Because this is the reality, right? This is the reality. There are so many good things. There are so many things that you can do on a daily basis without anybody's help that will significantly improve your English. The problem is, if you don't maintain that consistently for a long period of time, nothing's gonna work. No matter what that method is, if you don't maintain it for a long period of time consistently, it's gonna be useless. So the real question is, what can I do? What can I do to maintain it consistently for a long period of time? And that's the really important question. Not what method should I use? There are so many good methods, and most methods work. Of course, you know, there are some exceptions. There are a lot of good methods. The problem is most people can't keep it up for a long period of time. They can't be consistent with it. So consistency and maintaining it for a long period of time, those are the two key things. Most people can't keep it up for a long period of time. So the question is, what can you do to maintain it consistently for a long period of time? That's the question everybody should be asking. 영어 학습책 한 권을 안 받고 발음만 교정, 단시간에 교정을 한 이후 영어가 들리기 시작. 뜻을 모르는 상태로 생각날 때마다 조금씩 듣기만 했는데 한 10년 하고 나니 어느 날 스피킹이 되는 걸 발견. 그날로 일주일 만에 확 ным. Okay. And again, I mean, that's great, Angela. But again, just because something works for one person doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody else, right? You got to find what works for you. There isn't a one-size-fits-all method. 저 요즘 영어로 일기 쓰고 있어요. That's great, 플라피님. 한 20일 됐나요? 쓸 때마다 내가 이런 것도 몰랐나? 싶고. Okay, yeah, that's great. Yeah. 어떻게 하면 시험장에서 바로바로 영어로 브레인스토밍이 가능한가요? 시험장에서 브레인스토밍을 할 일이 있어요? 솔직히 영어 시험이 가끔 불합리하다는 생각이 듭니다. 시험지의 질문을 받아보면 즉흥적으로 생각하면 나올 수 있는 수준의 질문이라기보단 깊이 생각해야 하는 질문이 나옵니다. I'm not exactly sure what you're getting at, Leo님. Yeah. I want to be reading more English. Maybe I'll only read the English comments from now on. I feel like I hit the slump nowadays. I'm having a hard time being motivated by myself because I feel so much frustrated that I keep making same mistakes. Where is your frustration coming from, 손연우님? Where do you think your frustration is coming from? I mean, of course, you don't have to tell us. I mean, because it could be something private. But is it because of something that's going on right now? 이성 친구를 못 사귀면 ChatGPT를 이성으로. That's one way. You can ask ChatGPT, tell ChatGPT to be sweet to you, or whatever your taste is, whatever your thing is, just tell it to behave that way. Because not everybody like people who are just sweet, right? 곧 아내와 함께 미국으로 2년 동안 공부하려 하는데 와우, 아카데믹한 주제들을 잘 이해하려면 어떻게 미리 영어 공부를 해야 할까요? Well, I would assume, because like you didn't really give us any specifics, right? So I'm sure that you're the, I mean, nobody knows what kind of academic topics you'll be dealing with better than you guys. What I'm saying is you guys know better than anybody else exactly what kind, because you have some expectations, right, as to what kind of topics you'll be dealing with. And so, so if I were you, what I would do is I would just look for content related to that topic, and I would just do as much reading as I can, watch a lot of interviews, a lot of presentations. Just find as much content as you can and just consume like crazy, and use ChatGPT. Ask it to I don't know, give you like comprehension questions about that topic. Like if you find an article about the topic you're interested in or the kind of topic that you're expecting to see, feed it to ChatGPT. Ask him Ask ChatGPT to give you like a quiz. Like, give me a quiz based on this article. You know, I want to see if I got everything correctly. You know, and things like that. Make an environment for enjoying. That is the most important thing. Yeah, I agree with this too. I think not necessarily enjoy, but just, you know, the things that you do on a daily basis. I say this a lot, but like, you know, the only way to be consistent, the only way that I can imagine that someone can be consistent for a long period of time is to make it not feel like you're putting in more time and effort to do that, but using, like, doing the things that you're already doing the things that you're currently already doing, and just doing those things in English. You know what I mean? 챗GPT에 여보 했더니 무슨 일이야 이러더라고요. That's funny. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, GPT doesn't always get it right. Sam, I write an essay a day and get it checked by Gemini AI. That's great. Yeah, that's great. Hey, Yogurt님, what's up? Welcome to the stream. It's nice to have you with us. AI waifu. Waifu? Waifu. Oh, that's how they, that's kind of how they say it, right? In English. Do you think it will work? Writing an essay and getting it checked by... Oh, you're not doing it yet? I think it'll work only if you can do it consistently for a long period of time. And as long as that's not the only thing you're doing. If that's the only thing you're doing and expecting your English will improve, it's not going to happen. You got to mix it up. You got to do a variety of different things, because learning a language isn't like learning. It's a complicated thing. You know, being able to learn a new language, a different language, it's a complicated process. You need to do a variety of different things. Oh, robotics. Okay, that's great. I'm sure you can find a lot of content, a lot of papers, a lot of articles, a lot of conversations, a lot of a lot of like interviews that get really technical and deep within that topic. I'm sure you can find a bunch of it online. Because it's a very it's a topic that a lot of people are becoming more and more interested in, right? So 1월 초부터 한 번도 안 쉬고 6시간 이상 계속 영어 공부하는데 귀가 조금씩 트이는 것 같아서 요즘 너무 뿌듯하고 모든 게 새롭고 너무 좋네요. That's great. That's so great. I just wish that feeling can continue throughout your entire journey. Of course, that's not likely, but hopefully it is. Because I feel so pathetic and embarrassed when I cannot express what I want to tell foreigner. Oh, okay. So you do have a lot of opportunities, like in your day-to-day routine. You do have opportunities to talk to foreigners. Okay, so feeling pathetic and embarrassed when you cannot, properly or get your message across, right? In that language, I think, it's fair. It's fair that frustration is okay, but I think you should use that energy to learn like crazy. Learn as much as you can. Like, as pathetic as you feel about yourself, as embarrassed as you feel, because I can't tell you not to feel that. Like, when somebody says, "Oh no, you don't have to feel that way," that's they can't really. That's not gonna work. It's okay. So, all right. So fine. You feel pathetic about yourself. You feel embarrassed. That's okay. I just want to say that I want you to use that energy. Use that. Just kind of embrace what you feel about yourself and channel that energy to like learning as much as you can, because it sounds like that's the only way you're gonna feel better about yourself. You know what I mean? 청중 앞에서 발표하는 것은 그래도 어렵지 않은데 영어로 발표하려니까 정말 한마디가 안 떨어지는데 연습만이 길을까요? I think we all know the answer to this. I'm actually surprised that you are okay giving presentations in Korean, because a lot of people would be terrified to do that. Like, I would be terrified. I would be absolutely terrified if I had to give a presentation in front of people in any language. I would be terrified if I didn't even have to say anything. I would just feel terrified just being up there in front of people. And so, I mean, yeah. And I think you're right, HJ. I think you're right. The only thing that there's really, I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, what can actually take that fear away? Nothing. Experience, I think. I've started watching Japanese drama on Netflix and put the subtitle down in English. That's interesting. Okay. Oh, that's creepy. ChatGPT says. I took a memo throughout watching it whenever I saw expressions that I'd never seen and realized it took around 3 hours to get the only one episode done, even if it was an hour long. Oh, okay. So it took you 3 hours to get through an hour-long episode because you had to keep pausing it to take down notes. Okay. I mean, that's not a bad thing. You can do that. After chatting with AI, I checked my score with fluency, accuracy, what's complexity? Only fluency continues to increase, but accuracy and complexity, okay, and pronunciation don't improve. I'm worried about that. No. You know how I say that you have to start using English to communicate? And you have to, I say this all the time, you have to move away from studying the language to actually using the language, okay? That's the only, like, it's like think of driving, right? Or like cooking. Are you worried about your cooking skills not improving? Let me ask you this. Those of you who cook, I mean, because I know some of you don't cook, but those of you who cook, are you worried that, okay, let me ask you this. Those of you who cook, okay, on a daily basis, routinely, why are you not worried that your cooking skill is not improving? Let me ask you this. I'm serious. Tell me. Why are you not worried? Why aren't you worried that your cooking skill is not improving? I'm really curious. Tell me. Those of you who cook. 어차피 여전히 먹을만 하기 때문에? Because I can cook and keep cooking? That's not really an answer, is it? Because we are better than Joe. It doesn't matter. Okay. I don't think you guys even know that. So let me tell you what the answer is. Let me tell you what the answer is. Those of you who cook, okay? The reason you're not worried about whether or not your cooking skill is improving is because with your current skill level, things are fine. Things are fine because even with your current skill level, things are fine. People are eating your food. Right? That's what needs to happen with your English. That's what has to happen with your English. So, a lot of people, from start to finish, they're always in the state of, oh, is my English improving or not? How like, I can't use more fancy words or expressions. They have this concern because they don't actually use English to actually communicate. They're always just studying it. Okay? So that's why you have to move away from studying and just use the language to communicate with people. And when you go online, like social media, YouTube videos, and when you look at the comments, there are a lot of people who don't use English perfectly. actually, there are a lot of people who use English terribly. And it's fine because they can communicate. They can get their thoughts and ideas across, no problem, right? And also, you have to always also keep in mind, you only learn by using. You only learn by using. That's how we learn anything in life. How does your driving skills improve? As you drive. You don't suddenly go to a driving academy because you don't feel like your driving skills aren't improving. You just drive a lot, right? And naturally, your skills improve little by little. So that's what has to happen with your English as well. You have to use English to communicate. Just focus on that, and trust the process. You have to trust the process. So, as you use it more and more, your skills will gradually improve. The people who, if you're focused on repeating all of those activities that people consider as studying, right? Like, for example, if you're, I think, who was this? Who was it? Why am I talking about this? Someone mentioned about their like complexity, accuracy, and their fluency. Every time you're getting this kind of feedback, of course you're going to be obsessed with this. So don't approach it like a high school subject. Don't approach it like you're preparing for a test. I mean, if you are preparing for a test, that's a whole nother thing. But if you're just remember why you're learning English. Remember why you're learning it. And so a few things you need to keep in mind. You're learning English because you want to communicate with foreigners. Keep that in mind. You're learning the language to communicate with foreigners. All right? Second, you only improve by using the language. You don't improve by studying it. By studying, you just understand why things are the way they are. Okay, when you study, you just have a better understanding of why things are the way they are. Your actual skills, right? Your real life skills, they can only improve by what? By using the language. By using, I mean, I said earlier, reading, listening, speaking, writing, all of this stuff. Okay, it's a complex process. But one thing doesn't change: your actual skills improve when you use the language. Okay, not when you're studying it. So you got to spend as much as you can just using the language. All right. AI makes us sometimes frustrated because it's always correcting my English. Well, you can probably tell AI to stop correcting your English. You can probably tell it to do that, or tell it to stop doing that. There's a good chance. Might well이랑 똑같냐고요? Might well? Can you give me an example with might well, 동국님? And you should come to our streams often, and just if you have questions. I mean, we have a bunch of people here who are very more than capable of answering any questions you might have regarding English. Right. That's what I'm trying to say. So as long as you're communicating, right? And you don't really have. I guess like if you're like 소녀누님, right? And you're communicating and you feel frustrated because you can't say what you have in mind or what you want to say. I'm sure it's okay. The frustration can be real. I admit the frustration can come. It's very real, but at least you know what you need to learn, right? Every time you get stuck, as you were trying to say something, hey, that's what you need to learn. So I mean, it's a very refreshing thing to know what you need to learn. That's a really good guide, actually. It's really good. It's very convenient to be able to actually know what you're missing. You know what I mean? Communicate, not study. Real life sentence of this year. Well, if you think about a fundamental fact that nobody can avoid, it's true no matter what, right? Is that when it comes to a practical skill, I'm not just talking about English, but when it comes to a practical skill, any skill, you only improve by actually doing it. Let's say that you're learning to bake. You're learning to bake bread, right? How do you improve your skills? Do you study? Maybe you do a little bit of studying on the side, but you keep on doing it. You keep on baking bread, right? Same thing, anything. Like, working at a company. Let's say you got a new job. You can only learn, you're only going to get better as you do the work. So exactly the same thing. The same principle applies to English. Nobody can avoid this. You know what I mean? 귀신이 고칼 노릇이다? It depends on, okay, so what you need to understand is 귀신이 고칼 노릇이다. This expression, it's very connected to our culture and our history, right? This expression comes from a place of culture. So you have to understand that when we say this, Americans probably say something very different. You see what I mean? So depending on the situation, yeah, just unbelievable. Lately, I started playing games in English, and I found it's another good way to learn the language. Yes. Online games that require you to communicate, like constantly throughout the game. If the game requires you to communicate with foreigners, sure. You're likely gonna like it. You might well like it. You might well like it. You might well like it. That doesn't make sense. You might well like it. I have no idea what that means. I've never heard that. I took off your hat. It's very new. Oh, is it? There's a good chance. There's a good chance that you'll like it. There's a good chance that you will like it. That sounds great. You're likely gonna like it. It sounds okay, but it's just because of the two likes, it doesn't sound very natural. But that's fine. I follow your advice and listen a lot. My listening skills have improved a lot. Thanks to you. Oh, that's great. That's great to hear. When I talk in English, I'm getting my head blank more and more. That's my problem. It's okay. You're supposed to. You're supposed to just stop. You're supposed to stop thinking. Don't think about constructing a good sentence. So what you need to do is when you're actually using the language, right? Especially when it comes to spoken English. Writing is a little different because writing you have time to think about what you're gonna say. But when you're actually doing spoken English and actually conversing with someone, you have to just let go of everything and just let whatever that comes out come out. You know what I mean? Whatever that comes out, just let it out. And that's why when you're practicing, you have to practice like it's a real situation. That's why we have, like, when we do these dialogues, right? Yeah, during our streams or through our lesson videos, we often have dialogues. And the reason we often have dialogues is because we're trying to simulate real life conversation. And so that's the only thing that's pretty much, if I had to just choose one type of format to go through with you, right, to practice with you, I would always choose a dialogue, something that mimics a real life situation. And so, yeah. What was the question? Right, because in an actual situation, when you're actually conversing with someone, you don't really have the time to think about what you're going to say. You don't have time to construct your sentences in advance. You just have to speak. It has to happen instantly, right? And so, yeah, you got to practice a lot. Practice like it's a real situation. 영어를 많이 사용하려면 뭘 하면 좋을까요? 화상 영어도 좋을까요? So by 사용, I'm assuming you mean speaking, right? So you're looking for a way to speak English a lot. I think making, video calls with foreigners, if you have the time and money to do that, sure, I think that's better than not doing it. Also, I would actually one good way is to actually sign up for a class, sign up for an offline English class, because a lot of those hagwons and those language institutes, they provide a lot of additional services besides just the class that you sign up for. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? They often provide extra free classes that you can take, and you can just go there, maybe just hang out there, because there are students there, there are teachers walking around. You can just talk to them. That's another good thing you can do if you have the time and money to do so. I think that's another good thing. EBS 듣고 외우기는 별로일까요? I don't know what they do on EBS. I don't know what they do on EBS, so. When I speak in English, I think I'm just a talkative kid. That's fine. How about role-playing in English? That would be helpful. It could be, if you're into that kind of stuff. First thing I did to learn English, to learn a language, was organize the thought which are very scattered so that you can't. 듣는 사람을 편하게 하기 위해 문장을 다듬는 요령이 있나요? I think I don't know. I have no idea. It's really hard to think and speak English as fluently as native speakers. Of course! It's another language. Of course it's hard. So I'm super jealous of people who are born and raised from US or UK, countries like those. Well, I'm sure there are a bunch of people who are super jealous of Korean people. Like other countries from non-English speaking countries, I'm sure there are a lot of people. We should feel lucky, if we're really comparing with other people. If we're really comparing ourselves with other people, then we should feel very lucky. I mean, which country can we feel free to, do the things that we do on a daily basis? Have the kind of health care that we have? I mean, if you really think about that. I mean, but also consider this. Like the tools that we have at our disposal. Think about all the tools that we have at our disposal, the environment that we live in, the kind of technology that we have. It makes it so convenient to learn a language. It's like there's never been a better time to learn anything, actually, not just English, but anything. So we should be very grateful that we have all these tools, that we have this kind of environment, and that we have the freedom to use those tools and, take advantage of the environment. We're very lucky if you think about it. I mean, like, just the fact that we all own a smartphone and we're pretty free to do anything we want with it. I mean, that's, you know what I mean? What's your thought about TikTok is finally banned in the States? Like, in every state? Because from what I understand, they've been working really hard to ban it. Like, certain states have already banned it. So, they've actually banned it. Like, nationwide. It's a nationwide thing now? Yeah? Oh. I'm actually all for that. You know, if I'm being honest, I feel like social media, all social media platforms should be treated exactly the same as alcohol. That's how I feel about it. Alcohol, I don't want to say drugs, but I want to say that all social media platforms should be given the same amount of scrutiny and the same amount of we should have a very similar perspective of social media as we do with like alcohol. That's how I really feel. I think it's worse than alcohol in a lot of in a lot of ways. It's worse than alcohol. I know, I have seen, and I have known so many people whose minds have been completely poisoned by social media. So that's how I feel. So I'm very happy that they've done that. And I wish to see some of that in Korea as well. It's probably going to be a while it's probably going to take a really long time if it actually happens at all for something like that to happen in Korea. I'm guessing it's not going to happen very soon. But yeah. I have a very bad view of social media in general. In casual terms, I fucking hate it. Which is kind of funny because we're on a social media platform right now too. Do you really think being good at English opens up more opportunities in life, especially when it comes to making a lot of money? It depends on... I guess that really depends. Because a lot of people make a lot of money without speaking English, right? So it depends on what kind of stuff you're into, you know, as far as work is concerned. How's your weekend? It's none of your business. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I've heard that banning the use of cell phone till certain age is actually happening in some countries. Okay. I'm guessing, I mean, that probably would, I mean, I didn't know about that, but that probably would not have happened if social media wasn't a thing. I'm guessing social media is kind of like the main reason for that. He may well not want to stay alone. He may well not want to stay home. It sounds kind of familiar. It still kind of looks weird. I think he may well not want to stay. Yeah, may well, yeah. He may well, I think that sounds a little more familiar. It's not, I think that's very similar to just saying might. It's, yeah. I think that's very similar to saying might. It's different from saying it's something that's probably going to happen. Jesse Park. When I have conversation with foreigners, most of the time I use what I was already used to, but very rarely I find myself speaking the word or expression that I've never spoken out of my mouth. Very rarely you find yourself. Okay. I think... using using the same expressions, the same words, the same same lines that you normally use. I think that's fine. There's really nothing wrong with that. Of course, it depends on like what level that you're speaking in, what level of proficiency. Because I mean, even with Korean, people use Korean, at different levels. So, as long as you have intentions to become more accurate, which means to like fix mistakes that you're making, and as long as you're actively trying to learn better expressions, better ways to convey your messages, as long as you're actively trying to do that, as long as you have that energy going, I think it's fine. The problem is being easily obsessed. That's really bad. Obsessed with what? Liam, what's up? What's up, man? What we are doing is something very educational. HJ has a question. I have a question, people. I think these two ideas are conflicted, like ideal me that I want to be and just be yourself. How can we attune the state? I really don't know what you're asking, HJ. Could you rephrase that? Does anybody understand what HJ is trying to say? I'm not really getting what you're saying. I just asked because I'm the last year of my... Okay, you're in the last year, all right? So you're a senior in university, haven't decided what to do yet. So I think in this moment, studying English is kind of insurance for my uncertain future. I don't think... I mean, even if you can be very fluent in English, I don't think you can consider it as an insurance. I mean, are you the one who asked me about whether... Oh, this question. Oh, okay. Okay, well, here's the thing. Just because... I mean, if you're young, right? If you're very young, and you're just getting ready to, like, start your career, or you're getting out of school, and you never know what's going to happen. You never know what kind of opportunities will rise in the future, right? Even though at the moment it seems like you won't ever need English, you really never know, especially in this day and age, right? In this day and age, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what opportunities will come. But the problem is this: when the opportunity comes, when the opportunity actually presents itself, it's already too late. Because it takes years. It literally takes years to become a little fluent in English. So, it's I think if you have the time and mental and emotional capacity to put in some time and effort into learning English, and your English isn't already that good, then I think it's a very good investment in a lot of ways, sure. Thanks, mister. I practiced my verbal skills watching and practicing your contents when I was a graduate student in the US, and thanks to you, I was able to survive. Well, that's great. That's great. Although you're not willing to share what you did over the weekend, that's great. Good to hear. So happy. Long time no see. It's been a while. How have you been? Yeah. Hey, it's been a while, hasn't it? I've been, just getting by. Yeah, dealing with life mostly, I think. How have you been? I really want to be off the market in this year. Please wish me luck. What do you mean by off the market? Like, you want to... Does that mean you want to retire? I'm not really sure. I wonder what that means. Understanding with your head is not truly your own. It becomes truly yours only when it naturally flows through your body. Okay. That sounds pretty deep. I'm not exactly sure what it is that you're referring to. Okay, this is what I found. This was your previous message. 챗GPT 영어 공부하고 있는데 이거 좀 힙하네요. 뭔가 입력하기 나름으로 결과값이 나오긴 재밌게 하고 있어요. Yeah, some people really enjoy like using ChatGPT. 일상에서 원어민이 훅 던지는 말들을 들을 수가 없어요. 속도 억양 때문일까? 이럴 때가 좌절이에요. Okay, so this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You need to have a lot of experience. You have to have a lot of experience communicating with foreigners, not just the technical stuff, and when I say technical stuff, I'm talking about the speed, pronunciation, intonation. These are the technical stuff, the linguistic stuff. I feel that if you want to be able to be really effective in actual communications, like this person is saying, you have to have a lot of experience communicating in English with foreigners. Okay? That's why I keep bringing that up. If you are really looking to improve your practical skills, right? Like skills that really matter in the real world. You know what I'm saying? Then there's really no better thing you can do than to actually just communicate a lot. Just experience as much as you can. It was late April, if I remember correctly. Time really flies. I'm guessing I'm good with the daily conversation in English, but still struggling with speaking in English in the discussion interview situation, even academic writing. Any recommendations, tips for me? What do you guys think? I'm wondering, as someone born and raised in Asian culture, how to respond to someone old and American saying like, oh, your English is good for an Asian. Feels like I got some kind of racism. It's only... Okay, so... If it were me, I would just say thanks. I would try... I mean, yeah, I understand why you're saying that. But, you know, to be honest... Let me be very honest about racism. I think racism is quite natural. It shouldn't be, but I think it is. I don't think racism can be completely lifted. I think racism exists. It's something it just comes naturally to people. Whenever there's a variety of different races, I think racism is something that we can't avoid completely. And so the way I think of racism is I just accept it. If someone is racist towards me, I'll just tell myself, okay, this is racism. Fine. Let's move on. You know, so that's how I look at it. And that's why Korean people do that too. It's not... I don't think... I think that totally depends on the person. It's not an American thing. I mean, can we really say that Americans joke more than we do? I don't think that's a thing. I don't think we can say that. And that's true too. Yeah, we don't really know what they're referring to because me too. A lot of the jokes you have to be very familiar with very recent like pop culture, recent events. You have to be very familiar with those things, and so I miss a lot of those too. But again, so this leads me back to what I was talking about before, and that is how important it is for you to actually communicate in English with foreigners and watch them communicate. Listen, watch, read. And, as opposed to relying on education content that has been created for Korean learners. I mean, think of how limited that is, you know what I mean? Americans are really good at giving compliments. If someone tells me you speak English really well, I will say thanks, but I know that's just polite. It's okay. It's all right. They're being courteous, and you're being courteous too. That's fine. We don't always have to spell out what we really think and how we really feel. You know what I mean? JC Name says, I would try not to let the racism bother me as much as I can and just ignore. Yeah, I mean, I'll just let racism, play out. I'll just let it play out. I've been meaning to ask this structure of this sentence that I learned from Burma. I know just the guy you can talk to if you need some repairs done around your home. 여기서 done이 문법적으로 왜 쓰였는지. 문법적으로 왜 쓰였는지. 한승희님, 제가 문법적으로 설명을 못하지만 제가 아마 보시면은 익숙한 거를 하나 보여드릴게요. 이건 어때요? How about these? Do these look familiar? 그쵸. Get my hair cut. Do these look familiar? Now, I can't really explain these grammatically. All I can do is show you some other examples that you may already be familiar with. I hope these help. This is the best I can do. This is the best I can do. Hey, 고객님, what's up? It's been a while. 오늘처럼 이렇게 편하게 대화하는 시간 너무. Oh, that's great. Yeah, just hanging out, right? Just hanging out. 해석이 수리할 게 있으면. Yeah. I need so, I'm getting some repairs done this weekend. 그러니까 repair를 하는 거죠. 머리를 자르는 것처럼, 폰을 수리하는 것처럼, 음식을 배달받는 것처럼 수리를 하는 거죠. 제 생각은 아마, 그러니까 이거는 많이 봐서 익숙한데 이것도 사실 같은 형식이긴 한데 그냥 익숙하지 않아서 그런 것 같아요. That's how I feel. 과거형이 아니라 형용사로 쓰였군요. 분사 형태로 쓴 거죠. 분사 형태로. 이걸 형용사로 봐도 되나? 그냥 분사 형태인 것 같은데. That's as far as my grammar brain goes. That's as far as my grammar brain goes, unfortunately. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see if I can understand this. 목적어가 포에 큰게 수동일 게. Sorry, I just. it's 뭐지 이거? 오메가 3라도 먹어야겠다. 새알. One more. Okay. 제가 그동안 공부 방법을 고치고 쌤 방법처럼 능동적으로 공부하려다 보니 그게 그쵸. 아까 어느 분들이 get my nails done, get my hair done. Yeah, 이런 것처럼 그 비슷하게 get some repairs done. Yeah. 그러니까 이게 앞으로 여러분이 whenever you have a chance to help someone understand something in English, right? Like if they have a question, especially when it comes to these grammar questions, what I suggest, I don't know if this is the best way, but what I suggest is that you don't approach it grammatically, but just show them other examples using the same structure, okay? Showing them the same structure using other examples that they are probably already familiar with. Because when it comes to grammar, I'm pretty sure, like, I think I've said this before, but in a lot of cases, obviously not always, but in a lot of cases, the problem is not that we don't understand it, it's just that we're not familiar with it. Okay? I feel that in a lot of cases that's true. In a lot of cases, it's true that the problem is we're just not familiar with the usage. I haven't decided yet랑 Did you finish your homework yet의 yet 의미가 다른가요? No. No. I agree with Monday. I agree with Monday. I feel that they are the same. That's how I feel. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. 해석이 안 돼서, 그쵸? 뭔가 명확하게 it doesn't translate very well into Korean, right? It doesn't translate very well. And so what I'm trying to say is that in Korean we don't have that sort of usage. It doesn't, it's just kind of implied, in our tone and just how we ask the question. 아니에요. 벌써라고 해석 안 하죠. No. 해석이 안 돼요. 아무리 하려고 해도 안 돼요. 벌써가 아니에요. 벌써도 아니고 아직도 아니에요. 그러니까 이거는 계속 그 해석을 찾으려고 하면 안 돼요. 왜냐면 해석이 안 돼요. It doesn't translate into Korean. Just accept it. 그건 그냥 받아들여야 돼요. 아니 그래도 어떻게 좀 안 돼요. 그냥 안 돼요. 근데 왜 쓰는 건지 그 말을 붙임으로써 어떤 의미가 내포되어 있는지 그걸 그냥 그거 정도 이해하고 그냥 많이 쓰는 수밖에 없어요. 지금쯤 완료가 됐어야 하는 일이 됐는지를 확인할 때예요. 네, JC님이 하신 얘기. 숙제가 끝날 때가 됐을 때. 그러니까 예를 들어서 상대방이 지금쯤 점심을 먹었어야 했는데 아니라면 조만간에 조만간에 그렇죠? 지금 이미 된 게 아니라면 조만간에 이루어져야 할 일에 대해서 물어볼 때 뭐 요 정도로 마무리할 수 있겠네요. 지금쯤 이미 됐거나 그게 아니라면 조만간에 끝나야 할 일에 대해서 물을 때 yet를 붙여서 많이 물어요. 오케이? Something that either should have already been completed or if not be completed very soon. Okay? I hated when my English teacher forced me to memorize all the shitty terms like 목적보, 주격, 관계, 대명사. I still don't understand what they mean, yet I have no problem with reading and understanding English. Yeah. It's not really their fault because they've been trained to have the students study those things. When I was working at a 학원 before I started YouTube, I had a number of students who were preparing for the what do you call that? What do you call the test that people have to take when they become teachers? Shit, I forgot what that test was called. Anyway, so I had a number of students who were preparing for that. And so when I was looking at their, they had like a very specific template, like a number of things that they had to do. And yeah, a lot of it was very, very, I couldn't really agree with a lot of the different types of approach that they were taking. 임용? 그게 임용인가요? 임용고시인가? How do you think you have gotten used to the way English natives actually speak, especially in terms of rhythm and intonation? It's pretty much how anybody learns any language. I listen a lot. I watch a lot. Spend a lot of time listening, mimicking. Yeah. Did you clean your room yet? Yeah. 도착할 때, are we there yet? Yeah, right. Sam, is there any official abbreviation for Live Academy? Nope. I sometimes write about Live Academy on my diary, and I thought it's pretty long to go with. I guess I suppose you could just say LA. 한자어로 된 영문법 용어들이 더 어려워. 내가 문법책에 아예 손을 안 댄 이유. Yeah, that's good. That's smart. That's very, very smart. As I always say, so if you're trying to learn English, and that's why I always emphasize, it's one of the reasons I mentioned earlier, that you need to always remind yourself why you're learning English. Because a lot of people, they get so hung up on studying the language and the various methods that people recommend to study English. So you get so focused on like studying it's like when I look at a lot of learners, right? When I see a lot of learners, and when I look at like the approach that they're taking and the questions that they're asking, I often feel that they're learning English to study in order to study the language, not to actually learn the language for practical use. I feel like a lot of people are spending their time studying the language and just learning about the specifics, the rules that we've come up with, instead of trying to acquire practical skills. And that's why I think it's very important for us to always keep in mind, like, remind ourselves why we're learning the language, right? And that's actually scary when you actually start looking at, like, asking yourself the real important questions. Why am I learning this language? You're learning it to learn it as a practical skill that you can actually use. And when you actually realize that part, the next part is really scary because everybody already knows. At that point, you know exactly what you need to do. You need to move away from studying and move on to actually using the language, because that's the only way you improve. That's the only way you really learn. And that's really scary for a lot of people. Because most people are absolutely terrified of actually using the language. But again, the only way you're actually going to learn is to use it. So. How do you pronounce semi, anti, and multi? I don't really know the rules, but I know why you're asking that, because you will hear semi and semi, and you will also hear anti and anti. You will also hear multi and multi. I think it's like a case by case thing, so it depends on what the suffix is, meaning it depends on what comes after those words. But I don't think it's really that important. Yeah. Have you ever taught English offline? Oh yeah, for 10 years. I did that for 10 years before I started teaching online. I don't really like calling it teaching anymore. I mean, I used to say that, but yeah, but I used to do it for like 10 years. Are you done yet? 상황에 따라. 이제 끝났니? 아직 멀었니? Yeah, very good. Yeah. Monene, I've been working at a convenience store for over 4 years. That's great. I've always kind of wondered what it would be like. I mean, it just seems so, I don't know, like, whenever I go to a convenience store, well, not whenever, but every now and then when I go into a convenience store and when I interact with the clerk, whoever's working there, I every now and then I kind of imagine myself standing there. It just seems like I don't know, there's something so, it just seems so chill. It's like, I know they have a lot of things to do, probably, I know, because there's no easy job, but it just seems so chill. And sometimes I imagine myself working behind at a convenience store. That hairstyle really suits you. Oh, does it? Thank you. Tomorrow, a study course I signed up for will start. A study course, okay? And I'm a bit worried because the subject is quite different from what I'm used to working on. Oh, okay. So, what's the subject, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, wait. Sorry. I only read the first sentence. I didn't actually read the question. I've been working at a convenience store for over 4 years, and yesterday a foreigner came and we had a conversation in English, and the man behind the foreigner asked, 다 알아듣는겨? He actually said that, like, in that manner? 다 알아듣는겨? Is that some kind of is that a dialect? That 교체? Is that a dialect? Is that a what? When is your birthday? I would like to know your star sign. I'm Capricorn. I think I'm Virgo. I'm not really, I think I'm Virgo. September. If my birthday is in September, then what does that make me? I've been studying with your videos and other English content for months to improve my speaking skills. You might not like the word studying, but I really enjoy spending time speaking English. That's great. Yeah. Yeah, you know, studying, you know, yeah, of course, I obviously, you know, call it studying, but I use the word very loosely. When I really think, every time I use it, it kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth because I don't really believe in studying a language. I think that's for like linguists. People who are like, you know, learning it, you know, for something besides just for the practical skill. Virgo, so stubborn. Virgos are stubborn. I'm pretty stubborn. I wanted to know how much my speaking skills has developed, so I applied for the OPIC test next week. Oh, okay. While studying for the test, I realized that the daily expressions I've learned from your videos are super helpful. Some of those expressions are already sticking to me. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So, like, you know, signing up for one of those speaking tests and giving yourself like a sense of purpose, right? Like a sense, giving yourself like a sense of goal. That's not a bad thing. It's kind of like you know, some people just enjoy swimming, right? And they don't really need or want anything beyond that. But sometimes, you know, things kind of get a little dull. You know, you kind of want some excitement with it, and so you compete in like a one of those contests, like swimming contests. Wait, not a contest, but it is a contest, right? Some people do that. So, what time이랑 when의 차이가 뭐예요? 몇 시, 언제? 몇 시, 언제? It's about designing your user interfaces for mobile or web. Oh, okay. So you're a software engineer. Yeah, that's great. You're like a god. You know, like software engineers when they're, you know, when they like very, very skilled software engineers, they're like gods. So they can pretty much like create things out of nothing. You know what I mean? Oh man. Alright. How long have we been streaming? Getting kind of tired. Maybe we should call it a night. Yeah, okay, I think I'm gonna call it a night today. Right. I don't have anything that I feel like I should be copying and pasting, but yeah, right. Okay, I gotta go to the bathroom and I gotta do some other stuff. So it says it's been 98 minutes. Oh, it's only an hour and a half. Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, me too. It was fun talking to you guys. Thanks for spending time with me on this Sunday evening. I hope y'all had a good weekend, and I hope you're ready for a new week. Yeah, it's already 11. Yeah, we're going to call it a night. Yep, that's right. I think it would be fun content if you took a mock test for an English speaking exam. I guess it could. Maybe I should wear one of those spy glasses where it just records everything. All right. When do I do these lives? Oh, AA name. So you can speak in Korean. Okay, cool. Because like all your comments were in English. I thought that maybe you were only using. I don't really have a fixed schedule, unfortunately. I just do these streams whenever I can. Today I wasn't really planning on doing one, but I just felt like spending time with my online friends, so I just came online and we did a little chat. And so yeah, I really enjoyed this little chat. Hopefully it becomes a regular thing. All right. Okay. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. As always, appreciate it. I did. Wait, did I? No, nothing. Okay. All right. Thanks, YG, as always. Okay, thanks again, and hope I can see you guys again very soon in a future stream like this one, or in a future lesson video. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your, or whatever that we have of this evening, and see you guys soon. Take care.